Yesterday, we heard the word joy several times during this convention, and we are now witnessing joy of these delegates who have waited for this moment. To think that a month ago, no one knew what it would look like at the Democratic convention. But this is the unity and, yes, the joy that they have pieced together in short order, as they are about to hear from Kamala Harris.
So very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's get to business. Let's get to business. All right. So let me start by thanking my most incredible husband, Doug, for being an incredible partner to me, an incredible father to Cole and Ella, and happy anniversary, Dougie. I love you so very much. To our President, Joe Biden. When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring. And Doug and I love you and Jill and are forever thankful to you both. And to Coach Tim Walz, you are going to be an incredible vice president. And to the delegates and everyone who has put your faith in our campaign, your support is humbling. So, America, the path that led me here in recent weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So, my mother, our mother, Kamala Harris, had one of her own. And I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down smiling. I know that. So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone, traveling from India to California with an unshakable dream to be the scientist who would cure breast cancer. When she finished school, she was supposed to return home to a traditional arranged marriage. But as fate would have it, she met my father, Donald Harris, a student from Jamaica. They fell in love and got married, and that act of self-determination made my sister Maya and me. Growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois, to Wisconsin, and wherever our parents' jobs took us. My early memories of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music, Aretha, Coltrane, and Miles. At the park, my mother would say, "Stay close." But my father would say, as he smiled, "Run, Kamala, run. Don't be afraid. Don't let anything stop you." From my earliest years, he taught me to be fearless. But the harmony between my parents did not last. When I was in elementary school, they split up. And it was mostly my mother who raised us. Before she could finally afford to buy a home, she rented a small apartment in the East Bay. In the Bay, you either live in the hills or the flatlands. We lived in the flats. A beautiful working-class neighborhood of firefighters, nurses, and construction workers, all who tended their lawns with pride. My mother, she worked long hours, and like many working parents, she leaned on a trusted circle to help raise us. Mrs. Shelton, who ran the daycare below us and became a second mother. Uncle Sherman, Aunt Mary, Uncle Freddie, Auntie Chris. None of them family by blood, and all of them family by love. Family who taught us how to make gumbo, how to play chess, and sometimes even let us win. Family who loved us, believed in us, and told us we could be anything and do anything. They instilled in us the values they personified: community, faith, and the importance of treating others as you would want to be treated, with kindness, respect, and compassion. My mother was a brilliant, 5-foot-tall, brown woman with an accent. And as the eldest child, I saw how the world would sometimes treat her. But my mother never lost her cool. She was tough, courageous, a trailblazer in the fight for women's health, and she taught Maya and me a lesson that Michelle mentioned the other night. She taught us to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it. That was my mother. And she taught us, and she also taught us, and never do anything half-assed. And that is a direct quote. A direct quote. I grew up immersed in the ideals of the civil rights movement. My parents had met at a civil rights gathering, and they made sure that we learned about civil rights leaders, including the lawyers like Thurgood Marshall and Constance Baker Motley, those who battled in the courtroom to make real the promise of America. So at a young age, I decided I wanted to do that work. I wanted to be a lawyer. And when it came time to choose the type of law I would pursue, I reflected on a pivotal moment in my life. You see, when I was in high school, I started to notice something about my best friend, Wanda. She was sad at school, and there were times she didn't want to go home. So one day I asked if everything was all right. and she confided in me that she was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I immediately told her she had to come stay with us, and she did. This is one of the reasons I became a prosecutor, to protect people like Wanda, because I believe everyone has a right to safety, to dignity, and to justice. As a prosecutor, when I had a case, I charged it not in the name of the victim, but in the name of the people. For a simple reason. In our system of justice, a harm against any one of us is a harm against all of us. And I would often explain this to console survivors of crime, to remind them no one should be made to fight alone. We are all in this together. And every day, in the courtroom, I stood proudly before a judge, and I said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And to be clear, my entire career, I've only had one client, the people. And so, on behalf of the people, on behalf of every American, regardless of party, race, gender, or the language your grandmother speaks, on behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America. And with this election, our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward. Not as members of any one party or faction, but as Americans. And let me say, I know there are people of various political views watching tonight, and I want you to know, I promise to be a president for all Americans. You can always trust me to put country above party and self, to hold sacred America's fundamental principles, from the rule of law to free and fair elections to the peaceful transfer of power. I will be a president who unites us around our highest aspirations, a president who leads and listens, who is realistic, practical, and has common sense, and always fights for the American people. From the courthouse to the White House, that has been my life's work. As a young courtroom prosecutor in Oakland, California, I stood up for women and children against predators who abuse them. As Attorney General of California, I took on the big banks, delivered $20 billion for middle-class families who faced foreclosure, and helped pass a homeowner Bill of Rights, one of the first of its kind in the nation. I stood up for veterans and students being scammed by big for-profit colleges, for workers who are being cheated out of their wages, the wages they were due, for seniors facing elder abuse. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings, who threaten the security of our border and the safety of our communities. And I will tell you, these fights were not easy. And neither were the elections that put me in those offices. We were underestimated at practically every turn. But we never gave up, because the future is always worth fighting for. And that's the fight we are in right now, a fight for America's future. Fellow Americans, this election is not only the most important of our lives, it is one of the most important in the life of our nation. In many ways, Donald Trump is an unserious man. But the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. Consider not only the chaos and calamity when he was in office, but also the gravity of what has happened since he lost the last election. Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol, where they assaulted law enforcement officers. When politicians in his own party begged him to call off the mob and send help, he did the opposite. He fanned the flames. And now, for an entirely different set of crimes, he was found guilty of fraud by a jury of everyday Americans, and separately found liable for committing sexual abuse. And consider what he intends to do if we give him power again. Consider his explicit intent to set free violent extremists who assaulted those law enforcement officers at the Capitol. His explicit intent to jail journalists, political opponents, and anyone he sees as the enemy. His explicit intent to deploy our active duty military against our own citizens. Consider the power he will have, especially after the United States Supreme Court just ruled that he would be immune from criminal prosecution. Just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails, and how he would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States, not to improve your life, not to strengthen our national security, but to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. what a second Trump term would look like. It's all laid out in Project 2025, written by his closest advisors, and its sum total is to pull our country back to the past. But America, we are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back. We are not going back to when Donald Trump tried to cut Social Security and Medicare. We are not going back to when he tried to get rid of the Affordable Care Act, when insurance companies could deny people with pre-existing conditions. We are not going to let him eliminate the Department of Education that funds our public schools. We are not going to let him end programs like Head Start that provide preschool and child care for our children. America, we are not going back. And we are charting a new way forward. To a future with a strong and growing middle class, because we know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success. And building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. And I'll tell you, this is personal for me. The middle class is where I come from. My mother kept a strict budget. We lived within our means, yet we wanted for little. And she expected us to make the most of the opportunities that were available to us and to be grateful for them. Because, as she taught us, opportunity is not available to everyone. That's why we will create what I call an opportunity economy where everyone has the chance to compete and a chance to succeed. Whether you live in a rural area, small town, or big city. And as president, I will bring together labor and workers and small business owners and entrepreneurs and American companies to create jobs, to grow our economy, and to lower the cost of everyday needs like health care and housing and groceries. We will provide access to capital for small business owners and entrepreneurs and founders. And we will end America's housing shortage.
How? I would love to know how. Please tell me how. What are the policies that are going to implement?
To Donald Trump.
What are the policies
here?
I
think everyone here knows he doesn't actually fight for the
Donald
middle class.
Trump bad.
He doesn't actually fight
Policies
for the middle class.
No good.
Instead, he fights for himself and his billionaire friends. And he will give them another round of tax breaks that will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. And all the while, he intends to enact what in effect is a national sales tax.
Her and her administration is sending millions of dollars to other countries and not the American people. But she's over there talking about someone else is going to do it. Oh my God, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, instead of a Trump tax hike, we will pass a middle-class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans. Friends, I believe America cannot truly be prosperous unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives, especially on matters of heart and home. But tonight, in America, too many women are not able to make those decisions. And let's be clear about how we got here. Donald Trump handpicked members of the United States Supreme Court to take away reproductive freedom. And now he brags about it. In his words, quote, "I did it and I'm proud to have done it," end quote. Well, I'll tell you, over the past 2 years, I've traveled across our country, and women have told me their stories. Husbands and fathers have shared theirs. Stories of women miscarrying in a parking lot, developing sepsis, losing the ability to ever again have children, all because doctors are afraid they may go to jail for caring for their patients. Couples just trying to grow their family, cut off in the middle of IVF treatments. Children who have survived sexual assault.
How are abortions leading to families growing?
Pregnancy to term.
I don't understand.
This is what's happening in our country.
I don't understand. What is this lady talking about?
And understand, he is not done. As a part of his agenda,
how is getting an abortion growing a family?
Limit access to birth control.
How are growing families going to get
and enact a nationwide abortion ban with or without Congress?
And to my understanding, this goes to the states. This isn't.
To create
I don't understand why.
Anti-abortion coordinator and force states to report on
these
women's
people
miscarriages and
just believe in all this crap. It's crazy. Eating it all up.
Simply put, they are out of their mind.
Girl, can you believe what she's saying, girl? You can't be serious. Girl, they're going to take away my... Oh, man.
One must ask, why exactly is it that they don't trust women? Well, we trust women. We trust women.
All these women waited all night to hear this lady, this clown, talk about all this. This is crazy.
Reproductive freedom. As President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law.
This is the most hype this whole crowd has been the whole day.
Many
the
other
whole
fundamental
DNC
freedoms are at stake. The freedom to live safe from gun violence in our schools, communities, and places of worship. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to breathe clean air and drink clean water and live free from the pollution that fuels the climate crisis. And the freedom that unlocks all the others, the freedom to vote. With this election, we finally have the opportunity.
You need a voter ID.
To pass
Come on
the
now.
John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the freedom to vote.
If you can't get an ID, you probably don't deserve an ID. If you can't get an ID, you're probably not a legal citizen of the United States. If you can't get an ID and you are an American, there's an issue with that, and there needs some help. There needs to be some support for that. But
especially at our border. Last year, Joe and
these
I
folks
brought
are
together
insane.
Democrats and conservative Republicans to write the strongest border bill in decades. The Border Patrol endorsed it. But Donald Trump believes a border deal would hurt his campaign. So he ordered his allies in Congress to kill the deal.
because it had money going to other countries. How are you going to have a border deal that has money going to other countries and not all that money going towards the border? It makes no sense, man. Look it up. Oh. Here's a border deal. You're looking at the fine print. It's like, money's going where? Gender what? Afghanistan? Huh?
We can create
I wouldn't sign it either.
and secure our border.
Why can't you secure the border now? You're the vice president, right?
America,
where has this lady been?
Steadfast in advancing our security and values abroad.
Hiding.
As vice president, I have confronted threats to our security, negotiated with foreign leaders, strengthened our alliances, and engaged with our brave troops overseas.
We just lost some troops overseas. I haven't heard her bring up anything about that.
America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
I'm questioning that. This military now is a joke.
Our sacred obligation to care for
a bunch of woke, weak,
families, and I will
idiotic people in charge, man.
Never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Who are they going to get? Gen Z to go fight these wars? Go ahead and get Gen Z to fight these wars. They're going to be too busy posting TikToks.
I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. Trump, on the other hand, threatened to abandon NATO. He encouraged Putin to invade our allies. Said Russia.
That was Trump's fault. Oh, dude, this lady is insane. It's Trump's fault that Ukraine attacked while you're in office, right?
I met with President Zelensky to warn him about Russia's plan to invade. I helped mobilize
you
a global
knew about this,
response
right?
over 50 countries to defend against Putin's aggression.
Huh?
And as president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our
these seals.
NATO allies.
Feed me more. There's Ben Stiller.
With respect
Feed
to
me
the war in
more.
Gaza, President Biden and I are working around the clock because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire
Where
deal.
was this lady the whole time with this? Now is the time that I'm at the DNC, and now that I'm, the nomination or nominee.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always.
You didn't even pull up and give Benjamin Netanyahu a meeting. You are that scumbag Joe Biden.
Face the horror that a terrorist
What do they call it? Genocide Joe Biden.
caused on October 7th, including
Whoever's watching this,
unspeakable
there's
sexual
thousands of
violence
people
and the
outside of this place
massacre of young people at a music
protesting this
festival.
lady and
At
this
the
idiotic
same
war that these
time,
idiots let happen.
What has happened in Gaza over the past 10 months is devastating.
Oh, yeah,
So
it is.
many innocent lives
And what have you been doing? Has this lady even been to Gaza? Has she been over there?
Fleeing for safety over and over again. The scale of suffering is heartbreaking.
But you
President
won't.
Biden and I are working to end this war such that Israel is secure, the hostages are released, the suffering in Gaza ends, and the Palestinian people can realize their right to dignity, security, freedom, and self-determination.
I don't even know if this lady even knows what any of those things are that she just mentioned. Just go, Gavin or Newscomb. Shout out to him. Oh, it's Nancy. Nancy P. Disgusting people.
To defend our forces and our interests against Iran and Iran-backed terrorists. I will not cozy up to tyrants and dictators like Kim Jong-un who are rooting for Trump. Because, they know he is easy to manipulate with flattery and favors. They know Trump won't hold autocrats accountable because he wants to be an autocrat himself.
Why would he want to be an autocrat when he's a billionaire?
As president, I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand, and I know where the United States belongs.
This lady looks like a dictator. She looks like straight up like Germany, 1942. 1943, 1944, 1945. This is what this lady to me is looking like.
Fellow Americans, I love our country with all my heart.
Where has this lady been with the growing gas prices?
Everywhere I go, in everyone I meet,
Has this lady been to a grocery store? Like a normal
that
one?
is ready to move forward.
Has she been to a Fry's, Giant Eagle,
for the next step
Walmart?
In the incredible journey that is America.
Has she been to the border and seen any of the nonsense going on?
We hold fast to the fearless belief that
Did she even go to Hawaii with those fires going on as people lost all their homes?
That here, in
Did she go to Texas
country,
when those people lost their power
anything is possible,
because they're using
that nothing
these
is out of
windmills
reach.
that are killing birds?
In America, where we care for one another, look out for one another, and recognize that we have
Did she go to
much
Afghanistan
more in common
when all
than
those
what
Marines were
separates
killed
us.
in the explosion in this terrible pullout of Afghanistan that happened in her administration?
None of us has to
Did she call up any of these
fail
people's
for
families?
all of us to succeed. And that in unity there is strength. You know, our opponents in this race are out there every day denigrating America, talking about how terrible
Coming from the lady.
is.
Just
Well,
talking in front of
my
thousands
mother
of people
had
outside
another lesson she
protesting.
used to teach.
This lady.
Never let anyone
We're gonna pull that up
tell
right
you
after this.
Who you are. You show them who you are.
Is that Karine Jean-Pierre?
America, let us show each other and the world who we are and what we stand for. Freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities.
Not if everyone's on the same page. She's trying to put everyone on the same page. So what happened to capitalism? What happened to me figuring it out and you having to figure it out on your own?
And our grandchildren and all those who sacrificed.
No one's gonna figure anything out. We're gonna put you all in the same place. There's no figuring anything out.
Liberty.
Huh?
We must
This lady
be
sweating.
worthy of this moment. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith, to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth.
This lady talking in circles here.
The privilege and pride of being an American.
Okay, yeah. I was about to say, can you get to it anytime now, please?
So let's get out there. Let's fight for it. Let's get out there. Let's vote for it. And together,
Yeah.
let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever.
Dude, people waited all week for this. They stayed up all day for this. For this lady. And just to hear her say it. This is the longest speech I have ever heard this woman give, ever. What a disgusting human being in the administration that she works for. These people do not care about any of us. Any of the working, middle class people. They only care about what's going in their pocket. I don't care about what Donald Trump has to say. I'm talking about what this lady is right now. This lady is a disgusting human being. and she made everybody wait at like 10 o'clock at night just to go hear her say that nonsense that people have been waiting for her to say to Donald Trump in person. She can't say none of this stuff in person to Donald Trump. She can only say it behind these stadiums and behind these cameras, but never speak, you know, in front of the man. Whether she has to or not, I mean, it goes into like the American politics or just politics in general. When there's two nominees going for the same job, they have to have a conversation about their policies. You know what I mean? They have to go in front of the American people and have this discussion. Otherwise, you have these losers. They won't go on any other. They won't go on any news broadcasting channel that opposes them. They won't sit down and have a discussion with anybody on the other side, podcasters or anything like that. But they'll hire these people who would fall in line with them, and like Kai Cenat. These people don't want to fall in line with this.
And there's the shot. Let's go down to Tom Gomez, who's on the floor of the convention.
Tim Waltz. Oh my God, this guy.
Hey, Tom, if you can hear me, tell us what you're seeing.
Hey, Savannah, how are you? Yeah, it is incredibly loud, as you can imagine. I was just looking.
Wow, 4 days of this week. Like, these people, like you were thought that they were whispering, like on the mic. They're whispering. They don't have any energy. They have no conviction in their voice when they're talking. Oh, hey. Hi everyone. I'm on the stage. I have this super, like, who is this? Who are these people? Well, anyway, I'm glad that they had their own convention. I'm glad that I got to see it. I was really excited for this because I didn't know that it was going to be this bad, but I knew that it was going to be this bad. It looks like a good time for these folks that are in this realm. Hey, by all means, if you're in this realm, you go by that. More power to you. But me, all these folks look weak and disgusting. They look like they don't care about America or anybody else. Homeless people, like crime through the roof. People coming through the border, inflation through the roof, gas, milk, bacon, expensive. Sending your child to school, sending your child to daycare, expensive. You got all these wars going on. A war in Ukraine, a war against Israel and Gaza that's now moving on to Lebanon. Now we have issues going on in Venezuela. There's stuff going on in Cuba. Like,
Vice President Harris and her family.
And the whole climate thing, I mean, I don't have a good solution for that. But making it to the point where we're all driving electric cars within the next 2 years is insane. 2 years, 5 years. I don't know, man.
My new friend Cheryl from Chicago. Cheryl, when Kamala Harris accepted the Democratic Party's nomination, the first woman of color to do so, you were in tears,
This
wiping
guy
away from your eyes.
smacking the balloons away.
Thank you so much.
I come from the middle class. My parents were from the middle class. My mom was a nurse. My dad worked at the post office. And I got to go to college. But my great-great-grandparents were slaves. And my daughter's in Congress. This is so overwhelming. I never thought I'd see this.
You told me you never thought you'd see a moment like this.
How could you think it?
Say again?
How could you imagine it?
Yeah, this is a heck of a moment. You're right. Hey, let me.
So fast.
I don't think we're going anywhere for a while. There are balloons all around us, so you better get. We better get comfortable for a bit.
Right here.
Hey, John, let me ask you. You're from West Hollywood, California.
Yes, I'm the mayor.
You stood up at least 3 dozen times throughout this speech. What was it that resonated with you and made this night so unique?
I would love to hear it.
It's so great to believe in a candidate and someone that just wants to make the lives of American people better, and as a gay man from the birthplace of the Republican Party in Ripon, Wisconsin, to
Because people really care about your sexuality, right?
As the president is just the best feeling in the world.
Very nice to meet you.
There's people in their identity politics, all these folks. Why can't you just be an American, a human male American, wanting a better future? I have to say that I'm X, Y, and Z first. He didn't ask you He didn't ask you if you're X, Y, and Z. I'm the mayor. It's like, bro. What was the thing that you liked? What a joke, man.
A common home state. And of course, from this angle, you get a real sense of how all of the extended family is now soaking up the moment of the famous balloon drop. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
These folks better win. I tell you what, I'm going to go on record right now. These folks better win. These folks are going to be crying, homie. If this dude Donald Trump wins, these folks are going to be in straight tears. And that goes for vice versa. But these folks specifically, after all this crap that they just talked, they better hope that these two win legitimately. No cheating, no ballot harvesting and all this other nonsense. These folks, they better hope that they win. Because if they don't win, all of this mess that they talked here and been talking for the past few years is all going to go smack right in their faces. This guy, I heard Tim Walz put tampon dispensers in the boys' bathroom. What kind of nonsense is this, man? Like,
we saw his first wife. We saw the grandnieces of the vice president, who is now, of course, the nominee, and extended family members of a blended family that represents different cultures.
Everybody's having a good time.
All together standing for the Walz-Harris family.
I've never seen any of these people in my life.
Back to you up in the booth.
I've never. It's so funny that all these people showed up. I've never seen any of these people in my whole life. When Donald Trump showed up to the RNC, I probably knew like a few people. I knew none of these people. Besides DL Hughley. This freaking loser. Him and who else showed up? Ava Longoria. Woo! Beautiful as ever. I was hearing that Beyonce was supposed to pull up, and there was some George W. Bush. Oh man. Yeah. Time to go back. Time to go back to the White House to go do nothing. Oh, folks, I hope you enjoyed my critical commentary on this individual, Kamala Harris's speech at the DNC Day 4. If you did, please hit the like, share, and the subscribe button. If you did not enjoy it, please tell me why. Please tell me why. Or I don't really care, but obviously I would want to know so I can learn, because everyone has different perspectives, and I'm very open to different perspectives. But don't be coming in the comment sections with none of that propaganda nonsense. I need policies, I need facts, I need numbers from actual reputable people. Otherwise, it's just gonna get thrown out. I do have a video that I want to post up before we end this.
We'll follow up that more in a moment. We need to take a quick break. Still ahead as the Democratic convention wraps up. We're already 75 days out from Election Day. Steve Kornacki will be here to break down the state of the race and the big board after this.
I mean, to my understanding, I don't know why it keeps doing that. What are you doing? There we go. Shout out to NBC. This is what's going on right now, by the way. Just want to show everybody here. This is a live feed going on here. It's a live feed. Status coup. News. I don't care whether you think they're reputable or not. This is literally, it looks like footage going on right outside the DNC, or the DNC. We're getting some issues here because they're like live streaming this outside. Or not. Okay. I guess I'm not going to show this. These people are wearing masks. Why are you wearing a mask right now? Are you scared that you're going to get COVID, like, from these people? This dude's banging a pot. How is that? I mean, I just don't know how any of this is efficient. How is this doing anything for the cause? Do these people have jobs? Do they have like a life? Do they have kids? Do they have anything worthwhile than instead of being out here acting like an idiot and putting these brave men and women in uniform in jeopardy? Dog, you don't even look like you're Palestinian. None of these people look like they're Palestinian. This is clown work here, folks. Is there like another feed that I can get? Because for some reason, this is just, it is in the crapper, like right now. Shout out to John Fortnite. Oh man, shout out to John Fortnite.
All right, so you probably can't see, but
you can vote for whoever you want. I want you to do your own research, but I tell you what, if you were voting for her after all the stuff I said and you're not fact checking any of the things that I'm saying and doing your own research, I mean, I don't know, man.
That's the United Center.
I don't know. None of these people are Palestinian. I get that you're protesting for like a, really, you know, like a good cause that's, you know, has nothing to do with you.
At the rally, beginning of the march.
I get it.
Maybe over,
these folks got schmucks on. They got masks on. What do you got a mask on for, bruh? What are you waving a black flag? Like, I just don't get the mentality of these people. It's so low IQ. It's so low IQ, zero job behavior. This is like literal zero job behavior. Are these people took the time off to do this? Look, man, shout out to those folks in Palestine, in Gaza. It's not right that their folks are being treated and being put into this war because of those idiot Hamas folks. It's my personal opinion, but like, man, some of these people aren't even Palestinian, dog. They have no literal skin in the game. Now, I would really like to know if these people actually live in Chicago. Like, I feel like a lot of these people like travel from all over just to do this. It's crazy, man. We know what that building's for. What is this guy in the white shirt doing? Tucked in. He's the only person that has a tucked in shirt. Like he's about to go to a business meeting or something like that. As a security dude. How much are they paying this guy, huh? This lady got a sweater on. Is it cold out there or something? Isn't it the middle of summer? I don't mean to be so picky, man, but it's just like, you just look at this, man. It's insane. They're saying Democrats. They're not saying Republicans. Whoever's like telling them to sing this has like a little kid voice. Look at this lady. She took her mask off to put on another mask. Did you see that? I don't even want to go back because it's gonna mess up the whole thing. It looked like that chick took a mask. She had no mask on, or she was taking the other mask. She had off. She took the mask off, put it in her pocket, and then took out another like a fresh mask. Let me put on a fresh mask, right? Yo. Look at these people are posted up in a chain link like someone. I don't know what's worse, what I seen at the DNC or what's outside the DNC. That's crazy, bro. The state of Israel and its atrocity. Genocide Joe. These people have full schmucks on, like the schmuck for the head. Another masked individual here. No idea why anybody's masked. People are probably worried about getting sick, but it's like, why are you're worried about getting sick? Why are you in the middle of a group full of probably stinky, smelly people who probably don't have a job, who probably don't care about anything else but this? I just want to say more, but I have to watch what I say because I know better. And my parents raised me right. But I mean, hey folks, this is what I wanted to show you. This is Kamala's America, by the way. This isn't like, you know, Donald Trump's America. Donald Trump's not the president like right now. This is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's America for you. They spoke about all that hope and unity and this and that and the plight of the Gazan people. This guy is such a douchebag. Get your finger out of my face before I break it. Like this guy, he's got some bearing here. This Antifa loser with a black flag on. That's crazy. He said genocide Joe. I don't like how that individual just like treated this man, but I mean, he's out here with this little corny little deputy star that's like burnt onto his little collared shirt, meaning he is out here on his own of his own accord. So I do not feel bad for him. I mean, just think of the calories that people are burning right now, just screaming. All the standing that they have to do for this. Oh, man. You know how hot it's got to be out here too? These people like are literally wearing all this extra cloth. just going to leave this up for just a little bit longer. These people are in a chain link line right now. While some idiot with a black flag is in front of them. Are they chilling on the theme park? They're chilling on the playground. Like, these are grown adults. I don't know if people like break stuff down like this, but like, I have to break this down. These are grown adults, like taxpayers. Some of them.
Palestine will live forever. Palestine will live forever. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
Who is this? Where is this person speaking? I'm
free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
I got one more video.
You can't hide. Genocide Joe, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Killer Kamala, you can't hide. Killer Kamala, you can't hide. We charge you with genocide. We charge you with genocide. Anthony Blinken, you can't hide.
Anthony Blinken. He was actually just in Israel. We got the homie Vivek Ramaswamy. Apparently, he pulled up and he's talking to the folks out there, huh? Speaks with communists rushed out by protesters at the DNC.
That's the American section of the Revolutionary Communist.
May I take some literature?
You can read it, but it is for sale. That's for free now.
It's for sale.
I know. In a capitalist country.
Capitalism. How much is it?
Depends. So that's all under $5. Paper's $5.
I think we can afford that.
I would say so.
Let's got my wallet somewhere we can get.
You got Venmo, Cash App. You got the link.
I like this. See, the communists have Venmo. They've got all the digital infrastructure. I like that. Well, we can do cash. What's your best book?
Oh, best book? Well,
You got the Special Forces dude just handing him money.
Here, Robert, you want to know what we're about, brother?
That's good. Absolutely. What's this one about?
This is our paper. We write this and we produce it monthly.
How much is this?
That dude has a sickle.
Give me a second.
Oh man, a hammer and sickle on his shirt.
So, let me ask you.
On top of a newsletter.
This is one of my issues with Kamala Harris.
In
I want your
America.
perspective on it. I think she has two issues. She has not stated her actual policies, and the reason I respect somebody like Bernie Sanders more than I respect Kamala, and I've said this numerous occasions, I'm not saying it just right now, is if you have convictions, at least stand by them. If you believe in single-payer health care, if you believe in an effective national health care system for all, then stand by it. But why adopt those positions 4 years ago only to back off of them today? I could disagree with you, but at least have the position and stick to it. That's sort of what my criticism is. And my suspicion is there might be some counterintuitive alliances between the so-called far left and actually segments of the so-called far right that want to stay out of foreign wars, that want to end crony capitalism and lobbying and government capture, to say that, you know what, there might be ways where you may not agree with 100% of what I say or what Donald Trump says, but you don't have to agree with 100% of what somebody says to think outside the box and vote a little bit differently. What do you think? You said I am here to listen a little bit, so I'd love to hear your guys' perspectives on why you're here and why you have your own disappointments with the current direction.
Oh, get your communist manifesto freaking paper out of my face, man.
Because they all have financial backers. That's why we need a workers' party to take down the two ruling class parties. One that doesn't have funding from these big businesses and is instead funded by its membership.
Yeah, I mean, you realize the convention here, I don't need to preach to you then, but I mean, who buys the sweets, right? Talking about populist talk from the floor of the convention, stand up for the workers and break up the very companies that are sponsoring the whole event, right? So
shout out to
there's
Vivek,
a bit of a paradox there.
Schooling these people.
All I would say is
a paradox in what exactly?
Of controlled rhetoric, right? You have a lot of corporate interests controlling the way in which they actually assail those very corporate interests, which is kind of interesting. It is. I think we might be saying something similar. It's all a bit of a charade.
Yeah, I would say one thing that is definitely we're not similar on is you were talking about unification of like the far right and the far left. There is no.
Well, I don't know about unification, but there may be some common threads.
Well, we would say this: there is no perfect American communism, American socialism like this. These other little parties popping up. It has to be international. We aren't here for the success of American working class, because the only way we can be there for the success of the American working class is the international working class in Canada and in Mexico. If you had some, and now we don't believe in this, but let's say there was some perfect, socialist America, it would immediately get pushed out by China, by Russia, by Europe. So we need an international socialist revolution in order to secure a true victory for the working class.
An international socialist revolution.
Reparations for Black Americans.
So here's my perspective. I was asked about this when I came to the south side of Chicago a year ago, and my position on this has not changed. I'm against race-based reparations because I think it will create more.
There's Benny Johnson right there.
Race-based discrimination that occurs.
Shout out to Benny.
Yeah. So let me just clarify one aspect. I think there was a time and place for it in the Reconstruction era. But today, when we actually bring back racial reparations,
get that nonsense out of here.
It actually causes greater discrimination, not more.
Let's give you money for stuff that happened years ago.
A rise in anti-black and I think other forms of racism.
You weren't even born. You weren't even alive for it. Come on, man.
There's no better way to foster racial animus than to take something
away
from someone based on their skin color.
So don't worry about justice because it'll make other people upset.
Well, because it's going to create more division and be self-defeating. I think it's actually going to set Black Americans back because it will cause.
But Black Americans continue to live in that sector.
I want to move out of the middle of this.
Yeah,
just because I feel like. So let me say this.
Yeah, get your communist self out of this freaking camera frame, please.
You're always going to be coming up with these little band-aid issues. That is why the only way to truly get reparations for the indigenous people, for the Black Americans in this country, is a socialist revolution, is by seizing the means of production and letting that community give themselves reparations. We don't need to be asking for, oh, please, God.
So I'm curious as to what you're doing here. Are you a supporter of the genocide against the Palestinian people?
Dog.
I am
why is these people
American who is
have
actually
that thing
here to
where they
listen
have
to
to
the
get
views
up
of
in
people
your
who disagree with me. Now,
with their fingers.
one of the reasons I'm supporting a candidate in this election.
Israel?
I support the United States, and because of that, I support Israel and our relationship with them.
You support a genocide that has killed 40,000 Palestinians.
Look at this dude. He's not even a Palestinian. This dude is a straight up white dude talking like he has skin in the game over there or something.
I don't play those kinds of games. I'm an organizer. I'm not one of your.
I'm also pragmatist.
I'm not one of these people.
You're not a party.
I'm not an acolyte of yours.
You're not a partisan.
I'm not an acolyte of yours, and I'm not a hack for you or for the Democrats or for the Republicans or nobody else.
I got you.
I'm asking you.
Yep.
That you have no right to be here if you're not in support of the Palestinian people.
Well, I think
and if you're not going to call for an end to
America,
genocide,
homie. These people are insane, dog.
So do we in
an
return.
end to the genocide, and an end to the killing, and an end to support of Israel.
Look at him, he's like, yo.
You're not welcome here.
Well, the good news is we're America, and so we actually get to all express ourselves peacefully.
You express being a racist?
You can feel the tension right here.
You get to express being a racist Zionist pig? Is that what you get to express?
I'm pro-American, but I believe in your right to speak. I believe in your right to speak your mind.
Do you believe?
Racist go home! Racist go home! Racist go home! Racist go home!
They're calling this dude racist, and he's literally brown. His family is literally Indian. They practice Hindu. But the guy is racist because he doesn't. Like, the IQ level is small out here, fam. The IQ levels for these folks is small. Man, shout out to Vivek out here and Benny Johnson doing God's work, talking to the people out here, talking to these losers. All losers, man. These people could be out here being police officers. They could be out here running for government. They could be doing anything, but they're out in these streets. Look at this chick. What does showing up half naked have anything to do for Gaza? Like, these people are insane, man. Mentally ill people. Look at these bike cops. Half naked lady. Get out of here, bro.
Trump is gonna lose. Trump is.
Look at this dude walk around with a fucking ski mask on. nothing but a bunch of criminals. Look at Benny just show. It's crazy that Benny Viveka just out here, bro. Like, just out here. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, bro. Give me 1 second. I don't know. Do I have any more videos? I don't think we do. I have a really, really funny one. I think we could probably pull this up. Was it the Ooh, this is a good one. I wanted to react to this. I'm gonna have to make a video. We're gonna have to do this right now. Let me pull this up.
Voters here.
Okay. All right, last video, and then I'm out. I appreciate everyone for being here. We're gonna be streaming tomorrow morning. We're gonna be playing Delta Force, and we're gonna be playing Black Myth Wukong on the PC. It's your boy KWTB. So we have a video here by Alex Lace. Shout out to Alex Lace. I seen this clip on D-Day Cobra, and I thought it was hilarious. You folks might think it's hilarious as well. We got Donald Trump, and then we have Kamala Harris. Shout out to the Alex Lace Show. Go check them out.
How do we explain to the voters here MAGAnomics versus Kamala-nomics, and how could we just tell the people that relief is on the way? What could you say about it? President Trump, start with you.
Well, we have a horrible inflation crisis that's going on, and the cost of food. Everybody's unhappy with this. And, I don't get along with this guy, but his name is Chris Christie, and we're inflating faster than his waistline after Pizza Hut. And that's a lot of inflation when you look at it. He blows up like a balloon. He looks like the Chinese spy balloon, which the hyena let go across our country. That there was a balloon from China, and it came across. And I got along very well with China. I got along very well with Xi Jinping. I call him Winnie the Pooh because you can't say that in China. You get banned for that. But he looks like Winnie the Pooh. You know that. He's a great cartoon character, but I got along very well. And they never flew balloons over our country. But the inflation is a problem. And Chris Christie says he doesn't like me, but he wants to pay less for food because it's his biggest expense, believe it or not. And everybody believes it. The inflation crisis is a disaster. Rosie O'Donnell may even vote for me. Stacey Abrams, I call her, Alec, I call her the beast of the Southeast. She eats a lot. And she's not happy with how much things are costing. So these people are going to vote for Trump because I'm going to bring your prices down. She says she's going to bring your prices down. The prices have gone up like crazy, like a rocket ship, like one of Elon's rockets. It's gone up like nobody's ever seen before. And we got to get it under control because this is crushing people. It's crushing people like Rosie O'Donnell's bathroom scale when she steps on it. And the scale looks down and says, get off. It says, please, you're hurting me. That's what happens when she gets on there. They get crushed. We're getting crushed by Kamalanomics. 3.5 years. We've had horrible things happening. Terrible. People are keeping less of their money because of Kamalanomics, and we're going to fix that with MAGAnomics. And everybody's going to be much happier like when we were 4 years ago. Gas was affordable. Eggs were affordable. We could have beef. We could have a steak. Now you can't have that. They want you to eat bugs. They want you to have all these terrible things. We are going to make our country affordable again, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. That much I can say.
This guy's spot on.
Well, I'm looking forward to that day. I pray it comes soon. Madam Vice President, how are you going to fix this inflation, this terrible economy that we have, despite not doing anything for the last 3.5 years about it?
Despite.
Costs have gone up. Costs have gone up. It is, that's because the cost of living has gone up. Don, if you understood how economics works, then you would understand that, right? I've been trying to fix the mess that you created in 2020. So,
we didn't have a mess. We didn't have a mess.
We had a mess.
We had a beautiful thing.
I'm speaking.
We had a beautiful country, and you ruined it.
I'm speaking. Okay, good. Be quiet. And, I got to tell you, you vote me into office. I'm talking to the voters now. On day one, we will fix that problem. On day one. I know I've had 3.5 years to fix it. We're not talking about the past right now. Donald lives in the past. I'm talking about on day one. You put me into office. I'll get everything down. All right. I'll get everything down by at least.
We know
that. Yeah, you should have been a comedian, Donald. You really know how to deflect. You shouldn't have run.
We know you're going to get it down. We talked about Montel already. That's the first question. We know you're going to get it down. Okay.
Montel's a great guy. All right. You can learn a lot.
And Willie, too. Willie Brown. You know that? They call
They're
him Willie
both,
Down
they're
Brown.
both
That's what
fine, upstanding gentlemen, and they support women, unlike yourself. All right. You don't like women. They support women. They helped me get
He
here.
supported you, all right. I can tell you that. Willie Brown.
They helped me get here, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
You asked him for help. You asked him for help overnight under the covers. We understand what happened. Okay.
Hey,
On
let's
day
go.
one, I will fix inflation. All right. The cost of living, all of that, has gone up. That's your fault, Trump. And I'm sticking with that. That's your fault. We're going to fix that on day one. You vote for me, we fix it on day one.
We had the most affordable country. I'm just saying that. We had the most affordable. Alec knows. He's a smart guy.
That's Biden's fault. I had nothing to do with it. I'm not responsible for anything in this administration.
And Madam Vice President, I'm not sure if that's Willie or Montel, but someone keeps texting you over there. I don't know if that's becoming an issue on your end, but I keep hearing that beeping going off. It's getting very, very monotonous. So
I'm so sorry, but it's a lot of interview requests. I don't know what these people want from me.
And she's telling all of them no. And they're saying, why not? And she's saying nothing. That's what's happening. It's the fake news wants to interview her.
I'm leaving them on red. I'm not saying anything.
And they're blowing up her phone, and she's ghosting. They call it ghosting. She's ghosting them. That's a horrible thing to do. I would never do that.
The border is a catastrophe.
That's the Alex Lay Show. Go check out the Alex Lay Show. I'm going to leave that link in the description, folks. Sean Farish and Esti Pauti on the Alex Lay Show. Once again, it's your boy KWTB. We checked out the Kamala Harris Day 4 DNC 2024 DNC speech. Today is August 22nd, 2024. If this video was somewhat interesting to you, please consider hitting the like, share, and the subscribe button. And once again, let me know what you folks think about any of this stuff. Let me know. Give me some real critiques on like Kamala Harris and what she's actually done. I would love to. I do this thing where I go on social media and I'll go ask people what she's done. I haven't gone to where we just go up and talk to people and say, hey, like in person or like on the street. I've asked people that I've known, but I've never gone up to folks on the street, which I think Don Lemon did, which that'd be another video to react to, but I think we'll check that out tomorrow. We got a big react day tomorrow. The whole point of this is I would love to go and talk with people and see what they think about Kamala Harris. So I would love to hear what you have to think or what you think about it, because to be honest, that the whole DNC was just terrible, man. I think the RNC was boring, but I think there was some kind of like positive actual message there and people actually seeing what we've been going through and stuff not being done. So, I mean, let me know if you think things are not being done. But without further ado, have a great night. I can't believe all these people stood up all night for the past few days just to hear all these whack people who don't care about America talk. It's crazy. It's your boy KWTV. See you on the next one. Oh, hit me up on all platforms at Kicking It with Timmy B, which I'm going to pull that up right now. Hold up. Boom. If you have any of these platforms, hit me up. If not, it's all good. We're chilling. Okay. Big react day tomorrow. And we got some video games to be playing. We got a react day and some video games.